everyone, my name is Caleb Bronco and I have been an automotive photographer basically since I started photography. I've shot for companies such as Bugatti, Lamborghini, and many more. And recently I've gotten quite a few requests to make a video about how I shoot cars. So here it is. I won't be talking about any gear needed in this video because you can pretty much use any camera and lens combo that you currently have. Anything will do. But the one thing that I suggest everybody have when they are shooting cars is a circular polarizer. These filters can be spun to cut out reflections and they have a huge impact on how your automotive photos look. For me, there are three main things that it comes down to when shooting a car, and that is the location, the lighting, and the framing / angles that you shoot at. The first thing I do when I'm shooting a car is I pick a location, which oftentimes is the biggest make or break for good automotive photos. I keep a list of locations in my phone of places that I've either found or heard about from people, and whenever I find somewhere new that I think is cool and works out, I'll add it to that list, and then I have a plethora of places that I can choose from that I know are like solid spots to go to. And this whole process can be frustrating and incredibly time consuming, but it is one of the most important parts of the process. I always try and pick a location that best suits the vehicle that I am shooting. So say I'm shooting a lifted Jeep, I'll probably bring that out into the woods, make it all nice and off-roady. And then if I'm shooting something like a new Ferrari, I'll bring it somewhere more modern. An easily accessible place that pretty much everybody has access to that I love is like the rooftop of a parking garage. This location is usually pretty free of other vehicles, and typically they look pretty simple and clean, which can help your car stand out in the photos. Some other locations that I like to shoot at are parks, loading docks, and even a cool wall if I find it, like I did for this Ferrari F8. Now that we have our location picked, we need to think about the lighting in that space. Typically earlier in the morning and later in the day during like golden hour are like prime times to shoot cars because everything looks good, but you can also get amazing photos in the middle of the day, which oftentimes you have to because that's when the client is available. When shooting, I try and have the car like side lit from the sun or maybe partially backlit just because it adds a whole bunch of depth to the scene and also shows off the lines of the vehicle a lot better. If you're shooting front lit with like the sun behind you aiming at the vehicle, it's gonna like flatten out your scene quite a bit and not look as good as it could. And a lot of the time this will just come down to moving the car around in the space, getting out, seeing how you like it, probably hating the first few that you try, hopping back in, moving it again until you find something that looks nice to you. I will often move the car 2 or 3 times before taking a single photo. And then throughout the shoot, I'll move it like 6 to a dozen times just so I can get like exactly the angles that I want with the light hitting certain ways. Now that we have our location picked and our lighting sorted, we can finally get into framing up some shots and capturing some angles. When I'm framing up a shot, I am constantly trying to create depth to my image by adding a foreground subject or trying to find leading lines in the scene. And I will have people come up to me all the time being like, why are you hiding behind this pole or this tree to get a shot of this vehicle? And the answer is because it looks way better. Adding a foreground element can be done with pretty much anything, like a bush or like even the car itself. You can get like a shot of the steering wheel like through the window and it creates way more depth than just a straight on shot. Leading lines are also a great way to draw your viewer's eye to the subject, which in our case is the vehicle. And once you start looking for these leading lines, you will start to find them everywhere. I've used painted lines on the road, I've used tire marks, I've used like tree branches that were laying down, just anything that I could possibly find to lead my viewer's eye to the vehicle. One thing that looks amazing but isn't always possible is getting different elevations to your shots, and this will really set your work apart from others if you can do this. You can do this in a number of ways, like if you're shooting at a parking garage, you can just climb up some stairs if they're there and shoot down at your vehicle, or just putting a drone up in the air and capturing some shots that way. In terms of actual angles for vehicles, the one that I will get no matter when I'm shooting is a 3/4 angle of the vehicle, particularly with the wheels turned so you see the face of the wheel. This is pretty much the hero shot for me because if you send me out with a car, you can You can damn well bet that I'm coming back with that shot. Something that I always see people miss when they are shooting vehicles is interior shots, and specifically interior detail shots. Car manufacturers spend equal, if not more time designing the interior of a vehicle as they do the exterior. So only shooting the exterior is kind of like doing half the job. There are so many possibilities when shooting the interior of a vehicle, from the steering wheel to the seats to just some cool buttons on the dashboard. So make sure that you are showing off this vehicle outside and in. When I'm out shooting a vehicle, I will take hundreds of photos from every possible angle that my little brain can come up with. And most of them turn out like crap, but some of them are like the best shots that I got of that entire day, and they are not ones that I planned for. So do not be afraid to shoot every single thing that you think of. While all these tips will definitely prepare you to take better car photos, the number one thing you can do is just go out there and do it and get experience. I have taken tens of thousands of bad photos to get to where I am at today, and it just comes down to trial and error and experience. And yes, not everyone has access to brand new Ferraris or Lambos or crazy lifted Jeeps, but I started out just going to my local Cars and Coffee and snapping photos there and meeting people. And now I'm where I'm at today. I didn't talk about the editing side at all during this video because that really varies shoot to shoot depending on what kind of mood you're trying to convey. But if you would like to see a breakdown kind of how I edit my car photos, let me know down in the description. I will try and throw something together to help you step that game up. And if you enjoyed this video, please consider liking and subscribing. It really does help this channel out. I'll see you in the next one. The video, do you think it's all good? It's all wrapped up? Yeah. Okay, cool, perfect. Good to know.